ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Okay, so can repeat after me. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. वासुदेवेन्द्रयोगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुं मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते। साधनचतुष्टयसम्पन्नाधिकारिणां मोक्षसाधनभूतं तत्त्वविवेकप्रकारम् वक्ष्यामः। साधनचतुष्टयं किम्? नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः। वस्तुविवेकः इह मूत्रार्थफलभोगविरागः। शमादिषट्कसम्पत्तिः। मुमुक्षुत्वं चेति नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः कः? नित्यवस्तु एकं ब्रह्म तद्व्यतिरिक्तं सर्वम् अनित्यम्। अयमेव नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः। विरागः कः? इह स्वर्गभोगेषु इच्छाराहित्यम्। शमादिषट्कसम्पत्तिः का?
शमादिषट्कसम्पत्तिः का
शमः दमः उपरमः तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधानं च इति
शमः दमः उपरमः तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधानं चेति
शमः कः
शमः कः
मनोनिग्रहः
मनोनिग्रहः
दमः कः
दमः कः
चक्षुरादि इन्द्रियनिग्रहः
चक्षुरादिन्द्रियनिग्रहः
उपरमः कः
उपरमः कः
स्वधर्मानुष्ठानम् एव
स्वधर्मानुष्ठानमेव
तितिक्षा का
तितिक्षा का
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखादिसहिष्णुत्वम्
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखादिसहिष्णुत्वम्
श्रद्धा कीदृशी
श्रद्धा कीदृशी
गुरुवेदान्तवाक्येषु विश्वासः श्रद्धा
गुरुवेदान्तवाक्येषु विश्वासः श्रद्धा.
Okay, now you can mute your mic. All of you can hear me, right? My voice is clear.
Clear.
Hello?
Clear இருக்குங்க.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hello?
கேக்குதா?
Yes, it is clear. We put it on the mute.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah, so it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to make sure whether my voice is clear. Fine.
It's clear. Yes.
Oh, fine. Shraddha कीदृशी गुरुवेदान्तवाक्येषु विश्वासः श्रद्धा. In the last class, we saw what Shraddha is. Shraddha in Guru and in the Vedas. We also discussed why Shraddha is important. Why Shraddha is important in the Guru and in the Shastra. Why Shraddha is important in the Guru and in the Shastra. You may ask, is it not enough to have Shraddha in the Vedanta, Guru? Why should we have Shraddha in the teaching of the Guru? I can learn Shastram by myself. After all, Shastram is a book. I tell you, never venture into such thing. It is not only stupid but also dangerous. We should never learn Shastram by ourselves. We all know this mantra. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. This is a Shanti mantra we know. We chant this mantra at the end of every class. If you translate this verse into English, it will be like this. Purnam Adaha, that is whole. W-H-O-L-E, whole. Purnam Idaha, this is whole. Purnat Purnam Eva Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. From that whole, this whole has come. If you remove that whole from this whole, what remains is only the whole. So the translation is, that is whole, this is whole. From that whole, this whole has come. If you remove that whole from this whole, what remains is only the whole. Now you tell me, what do you understand from this? Nothing. It is just a sentence which doesn't make any sense to me. The meaning of the mantra cannot be known by just reading the translation of the mantra. You need to be taught the meaning of the mantra. This Purnamadaha, this seems to be a simple mantra, but it is not. You need to be taught the meaning of the mantra in keeping with the Tattva of the Vedanta. Who can do that? Only Guru can do that. Therefore, Guru is important. In the Bhagavad Gita, we have a shloka. Those who attended Gita chanting, they know this shloka. Nasato vidyate bhavaha, nabhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drishtontaha, tvanayos tattvadarshibhihi. So, na asataha vidyate bhavaha, na abhavaha vidyate bhavaha, ubhayoho api drishtaha antaha tu anayoho tattva darshibhihi. This is the Gita shloka. Asataha. Asataha means non-existent. Sataha means existent. Bhavaha, it means existence. Abhavaha, non-existence. So, na asataha vidyate bhavaha. Non-existent things they have no existence. Na abhavaha vidyate bhavaha. That which is existent has no non-existence. This truth is only known to the knowers of that truth. This is the translation of this Gita verse. Now, you tell me what you understand by this translation. You can pick up a Gita book by yourself and just read the translation. You won't understand anything. In fact, you know where this shloka is? This shloka, it comes in the beginning itself. Second chapter, 16th shloka itself. Krishna says, give this teaching to Arjuna. The teaching of Bhagavan Krishna, it starts from the 11th verse of the second chapter. Ashocyan anvashochastvam prajnavadansha bhashase katasu nakatasuncha nanu shochanti panditaha. That is how it starts. Second chapter, 11th shloka. In the 16th shloka, that is in the next immediate 5 verses later, Krishna gives his teaching. Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha to Arjuna. The meaning of this shloka is difficult to understand. There is a Upanishad with the name Ishavasya Upanishad. Probably you would have heard the name Ishavasya Upanishad. It is a small Upanishad, but it's difficult one to understand. Probably it is the Upanishad which is studied after studying Mundaka, Katha, all those Upanishads you study, and then you, after even the Taittiriya Upanishad, after that you study Ishavasya Upanishad. It's a small Upanishad, but it's difficult to understand. That Upanishad, it starts with Ishavasya midagum sarvai yatkincha jahatyam jagat iti. That Upanishad starts with Ishavasya midam. Therefore, that Upanishad itself is called Ishavasya Upanishad. The meaning of the first line of the Upanishad, the mantra says, Ishavasyam idam sarvam. This should be covered by Ishvara. Ishvara is Bhagavan. What? The whole universe should be covered by Ishvara. The whole Jagat. How do you cover the whole Jagat? Can you prepare a huge blanket and cover it? No. That is not the meaning here. So, to understand one mantra of any Upanishad or even the shloka of the Gita, Gita is a Smriti Grantha. Upanishad are Shruti. So, to understand one mantra of any Upanishad or even the shloka of the Gita, you should know the vision of the whole as revealed by the Vedanta Shastram. You require to have the whole vision to understand the mantra. Unless you know the mantra by mantra, you cannot have the vision of the whole. Unless you know the whole, you cannot understand the mantra. So, therefore, this is a real catch-22 situation. It is like saying, I tell you in Tamil, then I will say in English. பைத்தியம் தெளியணும்னா கல்யாணம் பண்ணி வைக்கணும். ஆனால் கல்யாணம் பண்ணாதான் பைத்தியம் தெளியும். That is, the madness of a person will not go unless the person is married. Unless the madness goes away, marriage will not happen to that person. This is the thing. So it's called anyonya ashraya, mutual dependence. Unless you know the whole, you cannot understand the mantra. Unless you know mantra by mantra, you can never understand the whole. You can never understand the whole mantra by mantra. Therefore, you cannot take up Shastra like any book and read like a novel. You cannot do it. You should go to a guru who can unfold the vision of the Shastra. There is no other way. In the Bhrigavalli of the Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhrigurvai Varunihi Varunam Pitaramupapasara Adhiki Bhagavo Brahmeti Tasma Hetadprovacha Annam Pranam Chakshushrotram Manovacha Niti Prabhuhovacha. It goes like this. Bhrigu Vai Varunihi. That is, Varuna's son Bhrigu. He approached his father. His father is the guru for him. So he went to his father and asked for this knowledge. Adihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. Adihi Bhagavo Brahma iti. Teach me Brahman. The son asked his father to teach Brahman. Then the teaching of the father gives the teaching. That's how the whole Upanishad, that Brahma Bhrigavalli goes. So therefore, Gurum eva abhigachet shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Mundoka Upanishad. Samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Gurum eva abhigachet shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Now, how can I find out the right guru? That is another question. In the Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter we know it's about the full chapter is about the Arjuna's lamentation. The first chapter is full of lamentations of Arjuna. Arjuna, he kept on lamenting, and Krishna was just listening to the lamentation of Arjuna. Arjuna gives his own logic to withdraw from the war. Krishna did not give any teaching to Arjuna at that time. He was just listening to Arjuna. He didn't stop Arjuna from speaking. Arjuna was just listening. Because Arjuna was in a mood to let out his anguish. So Krishna was just listening. Then in the second chapter, that I think 7th shloka, Arpanyatosho upagatas subhavaha Prachami tvam dharma samhura chetaha Yachreyam sya nishchitam brugitanme Shishyastevam shadhimam tvam prapannam. This shloka is a turning point of the whole thing. In fact, this is the root or the base for the Gita teaching to come from Bhagavan Krishna. Here, Shishyastevam shadhimam tvam prapannam. Arjuna says, Shishyaha aham te shishyaha. Te means tava, Yushmat Shabda, Shakti Bhakti. Aham te shishyaha. I am your disciple. Mam shadi. This shadi is a Sanskrit shadi, not a Hindi shadi. Shadi means teach. Mam shadi, teach me. Oh Krishna, I am your disciple. I surrender myself to you. Please teach me. Krishna and Arjuna, they were almost of the same age. Till the 6th verse of the 2nd chapter, starting from the 1st chapter onwards, right? Krishna and Arjuna, they are having the relationship of a friend. For Arjuna, Krishna is a friend and also is a driver, the one who drives a charioteer. Now, up to the 6th verse of the 2nd chapter, this was the relationship. After the 7th verse, when Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, there's a total transformation in the relationship. A transformation happens in Arjuna, and Arjuna surrenders himself at the feet of Krishna and accepted and wanted him to accept as his disciple and asking for the teaching. Therefore, go to your guru who is Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam. Probably Arjuna knows that Krishna is a Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam. That is why he surrendered himself to Krishna and asked for the teaching. That is why Shastram says, Gurum eva abhigachet, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. You go to a Guru who is a Shrotriya, who is a Brahmanishta. If not Brahmanishta, at least the Guru should be a Shrotriya. Why Guru should be a Shrotriya? Because the words of the Guru will be in keeping with the Shastra. The Guru will not give his own, mystical experience in the form of words. No. There is no any additional contribution of the Guru. Guru cannot modify the truth of the Vedanta. The truth of Vedanta is what it is. You cannot improve upon the truth. Guru cannot do it. So, if you don't get Brahmanishtam, at least go to a Guru who is a Shrotriya. Shrotriya is very important. In the ashram, we all have listened to Swamiji for the more than 3.5 years, maybe 4 years. It means every day we have Swamiji's class, 3 classes a day. So you can imagine how many hours of teaching would have happened. That's only Swamiji's class. Our Acharya class is different. It means we have exposed to the Shastra for more than, and the teaching of the Guru, Swamiji, for more than 1,000 hours of teaching. This happened. So, I may not be a Brahmanishta, but Shrotriya, coming in that parampara, coming in that tradition, Shrotriya. So that is that is what is important. A person should be at least should be a Shrotriya. That is why Mundaka Upanishad says Shrotriyam Brahmanishta. If you get a Shrotriya and who is also a Brahmanishta, it is fine. That is very good. You are the most fortunate person. But if not, if you don't get a Brahmanishta, at least if you get a Shrotriya, that will do the job. Now, you can ask, how did the Guru know the whole, that Purnam, the truth, the Vastu, the Atma, Brahmatma? The Guru should have been taught by his Guru. His Guru by his Guru. His Guru by his Guru. His Guru by his Guru. So it goes on and on. Finally, if you trace, the teaching is coming from Dakshinamurti himself, Ishvara. So, it is not that that it is the Guru's own teaching. No Guru can take the credit for the teaching because a Guru is just a pipeline in the tradition. He is just a conduit of knowledge. A Guru is the one who operates a pramanam. Therefore, Guru is important. The Guru has to operate the pramanam and unfold the Tattva of the Vedanta. Therefore, Guru is important. He has the key to unlock the words of the scripture. Therefore, Guru is important. If Guru is important, then the faith in Guru is much important. In the previous class, I told, Shastram is a pramanam. There should not be any doubt in understanding that Shastram is a pramanam for knowing the Vastu, the Atma, Brahmatma. And the Guru who comes in the Sampradaya, who can unfold the teaching, you must have faith in that Guru. So, this Guru and the Vedanta, the teaching of the Vedanta and in the words of the Guru, that Shraddha, that faith is important. Now, how to develop or how to acquire this Shraddha in Guru and the Vedanta? What should we do for that? You leave Vedanta. How do you get Shraddha in anything or in anyone for that matter? Suppose you are standing in a bus stop. Somebody comes and asks for 100 rupees. Will you give? You will not give because you don't know who is that person. And therefore you don't know when that person will return back the money. Suppose if it is your friend with whom you have a long association, suppose if he comes and asks you money, even you will give you 1,000 rupees without thinking, without any documents you will give him, because you have faith. How did you develop faith? Because of your long association with that person. You know that person, therefore you give him the help what he needs. So, the Shraddha cannot be logically established. You cannot establish the Shraddha by any logical analysis. No. Shraddha is gained or gathered by association with a person. The more is association with the person, the more is a faith in that person. So, in the same way, the faith in the Veda or the Vedanta cannot be established logically. It has to be gained through the long association with the Veda and the Vedic life, and the life which is prescribed by the Vedas. That is why in our tradition, everything begins with the Vedic mantra. Vedic samskaras are there. Jata karma with Vedic mantras. Namakaranam also with Vedic mantras. Even when you start going to school, you go to school before going to school, you do a ritual called Akshara Abhyasa. That is also a samskara. You do that. So any samskara you do, it has a basis in the Veda. And Veda means Veda mantras are there. Veda Gosha is there. In every function, celebration, Veda Gosha will be there. If a person has taken to the study of Vedas, he does Veda Adhyayanam for 12 long years constantly. 12 long years is the time period prescribed in the Veda Adhyayanam. So, as I hear Vedas more and more, what happens? My respect and my faith begins to increase. And Veda prescribes a particular way of life. And if I lead that way of life, I find that the Veda really blesses me. So, I get Shraddha in what the Veda says, like the Shraddha what I have in my friend. So, therefore, the Vedic way of life is to be led. So, when you discover the Vedic life is beneficial, how do you get that faith that Vedic way of life is beneficial? Because it keeps me disciplined, it keeps me alert, it gives me peace, it gives me a contentment. That creates more Shraddha in the Vedas. We know the Vedas is divided into Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda, it talks about Laukika Vishaya. Even in the Laukika Vishaya, the Vedic wisdom works. When the Vedic wisdom works in Laukika Vishaya, that we accept. Say, for example, we do Kariri Yaga. Kariri Yaga, why do we do? I want rain, therefore I do Kariri Yajna. I want a Putra, a son, therefore I do Putra Kameshti Yajna. So, a particular means is prescribed for the particular end. So, in the same way, in the Vedanta, which talks about the Apaurushaya Vishaya, for that also Veda is a Pramanam. Vedanta, that is the last portion of the Veda. Vedanta is a Pramanam. So, if the Laukika, in the sphere of Laukika Vishaya, if the Vedic wisdom works, therefore the Apaurushaya Vishaya also it should work. So, the only way to get Shraddha is what? You have to get associated with the Vedas and the Vedic way of life. A brahmachari, he does Samhita Dhanam. He is supposed to do Samhita Dhanam in the morning and in the evening. And if you see the Samhita Dhanam procedure, he says at the end, Shraddham Medam Yasha Pragyam Vidyam Buddhim Shriyam Balam Ayushyam Teja Arogyam Egi Mehavya Bhagana. This is a prayer which is incorporated as a part of the Samhita Dhanam ritual. So, Shraddham Medham. Shraddha. Give me Shraddha. Let me have Shraddha. So, when a person from the brahmachari lifestyle itself, when he starts praying like this, naturally the person will have Shraddha. So, what Vedanta says, it can be understood logically. And therefore, one can get Shraddha by seeing this fact. I'll give another example. This Drik Drishya Viveka. Drik means seer. Drishya is what is seen. So, seer, seen, discrimination. Drik Drishya Viveka. Drik Drishya Viveka, it points out that I am not only what I see. That is true. I see the body, and therefore I cannot only be the body. If I take myself to be the body, then it is erroneous knowledge. Vedanta says, I am not only the body, I am not only the mind, I am not only the sense organs. It is logical. And we have established this in the previous class, if you remember. So, one thing about self-knowledge revealed by Vedanta is that it can be gained right now, here. And therefore, Shraddha is needed. Shraddha is not blind, but it is a temporary pending discovery, a pending understanding, Shraddha. The more we understand the nature of Pramanam and Vedanta as an exclusive means of knowledge for knowing Atma, for gaining Atma Jnanam, the more easier will be to get Shraddha. So, Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Vishwasaka Shraddha. Okay. Now comes the next qualification. The disciple asks the Guru. Now we can chant with me. Samadhanam kim.
Samadhanam kim.
Guru says, Chittaikagrata.
Chittaikagrata.
Chitta ekagrata. Okay, you can mute your mic. So, Samadhanam, this is the sixth of the Shatka Sampattihi. Shatka Sampattihi, that is sixfold Sampatti, that group of 6 qualifications, that Samadhanam is the one qualification, and that is the last qualification in that. Samadhanam kim. What is Samadhanam? Samadhanam is, it is having only one thing at a time. It's having only one thing at a time in front of the mind. Right? The Samadhanam is not the Tamil Samadhanam. In Tamil we say Samadhanam. That is appeasement, a peaceful settlement. No, that is not the Samadhanam here. Samadhanam is defined as Ekagrata. Ekagrata is one-pointedness. One-pointedness of what? Of Chitta, mind. Ekam agre yasya saha. Tasya bhavaha ekagrata. Ekagrata is an abstract noun. Agre means in front, right in front of you. Agre. Agre, there is only one thing. Eka, that is ekagra. Ekagra. So, the meaning of Samadhanam is the status of your mind. It is the status of your mind, Chitta. Focusing on only one thing at a time. That ekagrata is Samadhanam. And this Samadhanam, it's an accomplishment. It's not a simple thing. It's a big accomplishment. To keep the mind in a particular track of thinking for a length of time, that is an accomplishment. It's a great accomplishment. Because the mind constantly moves. So Chitta Ekagrata is the capacity to bring back the mind to the topic. The nature of the mind is to wander, it's to move. In fact, it has got to move. Then only you can know things. But the problem is, the mind can not only move, but it move away from the chosen topic, chosen object. Therefore, you should have the capacity to bring it back. That is called Samadhanam. So, Samadhanam is the capacity of the mind to observe itself in a given pursuit for a length of time. That length of time is important. For a length of time, you should be able to apply the mind. That application towards the particular object or a particular topic which you want to understand, that is called Samadhanam. There is only one thing that is in front of the mind at a given time. Suppose if I read a newspaper, then Ekam, the newspaper alone is in front of my mind. If I am listening to somebody, so in front of mind the only thing what is there is the other person is saying. There is no office, no children, no house, nothing should be there in the mind. But we often say, what did you say? Sorry, excuse me, beg your pardon. I didn't hear what you say. Can you please repeat? So it all shows that it's a lack of samadhana. If it is due to lack of hearing capacity, that is different. That we can understand. But if it is due to the mind slipping off, it is lack of samadhanam. Nobody can complain about concentration. Nobody can say that I don't have concentration. Everybody has concentration. It is a question of discovering a particular interest for a topic. You have to discover that. Any topic, say Sanskrit. So once you get involved in Sanskrit, you begin to understand it properly. You enjoy it. Once you enjoy, your concentration also increases. So therefore, no one can say, I don't have concentration. It is our common experience that when we chant a particular mantra, when you do mantra japa, when you chant a particular mantra, our mind, it goes away, it wanders all over. It is the nature of the mind to go all over. The mind should not be stagnant. Otherwise, you won't be able to know anything. The thought frame must be momentary. Because otherwise you can't see the motion. Therefore, it has to be momentary, like a movie. The mind goes on taking pictures. That is how the mind works. It has to move. The mind nature is to move. Then only you can know the things. But then, what happens is the mind moves away from the given topic. The mind moves away from the japa. Therefore, you should have the capacity to bring back it. That is the samadhana. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Chanchalam hi manat Krishna. Arjuna says, Krishna, Chanchalam hi manat Krishna. The nature of the mind is what? Chanchalam. It keeps on moving. So, when I am repeating a mantra mentally, so my mind moves away from what I am repeating. So what should I do? I should bring back the mind to what I am doing. So my mantra. That is the meditation. In fact, the definition of meditation is to bring back the mind to what you are doing. That is what the meditation is. So you cannot complain anymore that you cannot meditate. Bringing back the mind to the object on which you are dwelling is the definition of meditation. So therefore, nobody can really complain, my mind moves away. No. Bring it back. Bringing it back is meditation. Moving away is natural. But if you don't bring it back, then there is no meditation. So you should consciously attempt to bring it back to the object of meditation. That is meditation. So whenever it moves away, bring it back. That is the advice given by Krishna, even in the Gita. Yato yato nischarati tatastato niyamya niyamya etat niyamya. That is, you should bring it back. Yato nischarati. Whenever it wanders, you bring it back. That is the meditation. So the capacity to bring it back is what is called chitta ekagrata samadhanam. And also the mind should be, it has to be one-pointed, like the thread, which has to pass through the eye of a needle. If the thread is not together, then the thread will not pass through the eye of the needle. Therefore, the samadhanam is this one-pointedness, this concentration. This samadhanam is possible only when there is a certain contentment in you. When there is a certain contentment, discontentment, when there is certain discontentment or disenchantment, then it's very difficult to keep the mind in a given track. So we can define samadhanam also as the contentment of the mind. Also, samadhanam can be defined as, can also be taken as a mind that is not interested in too many things or doing too many things at the same time. Trying to do too many things at the same time, it is common, and we say it is a multitasking. But it is really speaking that multitasking is of no use. This is a particular kind of habit that is not helpful in this pursuit. In the spiritual pursuit, it is not helpful. So we need to have samadhanam. Swamiji says, too many irons in the fire is a problem. When there are too many things to do, then we need viveka and vairagya. that we have talked about. We should have Viveka and Vairagya and decide what to do now. Give priority to what is to be done. So, a certain chitta samadhana is required. That is the main, that should be the, you have only one thing in front of the mind and that is what you are seeking now. In the person, the spiritual person, what is that? Moksha. That is the main, that should be the predominant occupation. All the other things, all the other purusharthas should subserve the moksha purushartha. Vedanta Sara, it defines samadhanam beautifully. That in our context of studying scriptures, it says, nigrhitasya manasaha shravanadau tad guna vishayecha samadhihi samadhanam. Nigrhitasya manasaha shravanadau tad anuguna vishaye cha samadhihi samadhanam. That is, samadhanam is the concentration of the mind. Concentration of the mind which is restrained. Concentration of the mind on what? On shravanadau, on hearing, on shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam of the scriptural passages, and doing things that are conducive to the spiritual pursuit. That is the samadhanam. That is what the Vedanta Sara defines. Nigrhitasya manasaha. Nigrhitasya manasaha means that is a mind which is withdrawn, which is restrained from its other preoccupations and distractions. A poise, an abiding mind. That mind must be focused. And that focusing mind, it brings us samadhanam or samadhihi. Samadhihi means absorption. Samadhihi means absorption, concentration, one pointedness, the same as samadhanam only. Samadhihi, samadhanam, they are not different. So, such a mind which has this samadhanam, which should be focused on shravanadau. Shravanadau means what? Shravanam, mananam, nididhyasam. When the class is going on, now, the mind is able to expose itself to the teaching. It doesn't get dissipated, it doesn't get distracted by anything else. It should not get dissipated or distracted by anything else. Then only the effective shravanam will take place. Effective hearing will take place. A lot of our energy is exhausted in entertaining various thoughts, chasing after different arthakama, reacting to the various situations and demands. So we are wasting a lot of energy in all these things. So the practice of samadhanam, what does it do? It helps us in conserving a lot of this mental energy so that it can be applied effectively to our spiritual pursuit. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it says, Atmava are drashtavyaha, sotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. So, Atmava are drashtavyaha. Atma must be seen. Must be seen means must be known. How do you know it? Right? Shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. That is, we must do an vichara, an inquiry into the Atma Swarupa. And the method of performing that vichara is only through shravanam. Shravanam is listening to the scriptural teaching from the Guru. And mananam is clarifying the doubts. Whenever the teacher gives the teaching, doubts may occur. We compare with our experience and with the teaching given by the teacher, and there may arise a doubt. So that has to be clarified. That is mananam. And nididhyasanam is assimilating the teaching, tackling all the viparita bhava. That is called nididhyasanam. We will talk about shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam in detail, maybe in the later classes. So this is what the definition of samadhanam given by the Vedanta Sara. That is occupying our mind only with shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. By which mind? Nigrhitasya manaha. Shravanadau tad anuguna vishaye sacha samadhihi samadhanam. we may find that some additional preparations are also needed to listen to the scriptures. We may not be able to deliberate on Vedanta all the time because the mind needs a change, a certain distraction is required. The mind needs that. Or we find that we are not able to consistently maintain that frame of mind because certain qualifications like this amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, shanti, all these qualifications, they are not fully developed. This means that mind has not acquired the maturity needed to apply itself totally to this pursuit of Atma-jnana. Therefore, the samadhanam, it includes doing whatever is necessary to develop this qualifications, this inner qualifications of humility, non-hurting, shanti, forgiveness, non-pretentiousness, amanitvam, adambitam, all these values which Krishna detailed in the 13th chapter from the 8th shloka onwards. When Shravanam or Mananam, when we are not doing Shravanam or Mananam, so what is expected from a student is advised to observe his own mind. He should introspect. He should be alert to the various thoughts which comes in the mind and the reactions also. There may be some traces of arrogance, pride, jealousy, violence. So we need to slowly make ourselves free of all these tendencies. The pursuit of this knowledge, Atma-jnanam, it includes not only Shravanam, Maranam, Nididhyasanam, but also self-introspection. Also constantly we have to work to remove the obstacles that come in the way of our pursuit. All these things, it comprises samadhanam. Though samadhanam means single pointedness or the concentration of the mind, it doesn't mean that one has to withdraw from all the other activities. One need not give up one's activities. They are advised, or the students are advised to perform activities in such a manner that all these actions should subserve the moksha purushartha. All the actions should become a means for jnanam, atma-jnanam. That is why it is advised even to introspect. If we don't have this amanitwadi qualities, we have to introspect and identify and develop those qualities deliberately. That is conducive for jnana. So samadhanam, it comprises everything. And through our daily performance of our karma, nitya karma, naimitya karma, all these activities, what do we see? What do we get? By performing all this activity, we tap the grace of Bhagavan, and Bhagavan's grace will purify the mind. That is all the raga dvesha, which is the impurification of the mind. That slowly it will go away by the grace of the Bhagavan. This is also a part of the samadhanam only. So samadhanam means what? Constantly maintaining the focus on our pursuit. And you make choice, and making choices, that also will serve as a means for atma-jnana. That is samadhanam. This samadhanam, which is defined by this Vedanta Sara, it's a beautiful definition. That is why I elaborated on that definition. Viveka Chudamani, it defines samadhanam. It defines samadhanam as sarvara sthapanam buddhehe shuddhe brahmani sarvatha tat samadhanam ityuktam natu chittasya lalanam. That is 26th verse in the Viveka Chudamani. Adi Shankaracharya says, samadhanam is placing of the buddhi always and in every manner, sarvata. In what? In Brahman. Sarvata Brahmani sthapanam. And Brahman is what? Shuddha Brahman. Shuddha, and it is free from all limitations. It means the object of vichara, the inquiry of the buddhi, should be only Brahman. Every other concern, it finds resolution in this one committed inquiry, in this moksha purushartha. Nothing else has any value, any worth of one's concern and pursuit when it comes to moksha. And Acharya says, Natu Chittasya Lalanam. It is not Chitta Lalanam. Chitta Lalanam is rocking of the mind. Like when you cradle the baby, the cradle goes this side, that side. So like that the mind goes back and forth. Natu Chittasya Lalanam. In the mind now it thinks of one thing and it thinks of another thing later. So this has to go. This has to go means what Chitta Samadhanam should come. So this qualification is very important. It's not only important for our spiritual pursuit, it is also important for our mundane pursuit also. The story of this Arjuna in the Mahabharata, it is something worth recounting here. So I tell this story to my students in the school. They all get inspired by this story. Even I also get sometimes inspiration from this story. It's a beautiful story. Probably you all know that. You know, this among all the Pandava and the Kauravas, this Arjuna he had keen interest for archery. He had great concentration and perseverance. So, because of his commitment, he became the star in archery. Acharya Drona was very much pleased with Arjuna, and he showed love and favor towards Arjuna. Naturally, this caused a jealousy in the heart of Duryodhana and his brothers. Though Dronacharya was a fair teacher, he could not help admiring Arjuna because he was a sincere student, a committed student, and an enthusiastic and a focused student. So one day, this Duryodhana, he openly criticized Dronacharya for showing favor towards Arjuna. So Dronacharya, he wanted to reply to that criticism not by words, by a test. So he tied a wooden bird at the top of a tree. Then he called all his disciples and said, "Look, my children, a bird is sitting on the top of the tree. Now you have to hit it." So everybody nodded. Then he called Yudhishthira first. So Yudhishthira came and he stretched his bowstring and he was about to release the arrow. Then the Dronacharya asked him, Yudhishthira, what is visible to you now? What do you see now? Then the Yudhishthira replied, "O Gurudeva, I am seeing you, I am seeing the tree, I am seeing the people around, and also the bird." Then Dronacharya asked him to leave the bow and go, and called Duryodhana. And he asked Duryodhana to aim the bird. When Duryodhana aimed the bird, Dronacharya stopped him and asked him, "What do you see now?" Duryodhana replied, "I can see the sky, I can see the tree, I can see the leaves, fruits, birds." He gave a long list. Dronacharya asked him to leave the bow and go. Then he called Bhima, Nakla, Sahadeva, and others. They all replied the same way. Now, it was the turn of Arjuna. So Dronacharya called him. He asked him to aim the bird. When Arjuna was ready, Dronacharya asked him, "My dear Arjuna, what do you see now?" Arjuna replied, "O Gurudev, I can see only the bird, nothing else." Then Dronacharya asked him to aim further. Then he asked him, "Arjuna, now what do you see?" Now he said, "O Gurudev, I can see only the eye of the bird and nothing else." When Arjuna replied, Dronacharya asked him to fire. And Arjuna released the arrow and it exactly pierced the eye of the bird. That this test itself shows how great the concentration of Arjuna was. Even the Swayamvara which Drupada arranged, he knows that only a person of such caliber like Arjuna, only Arjuna can hit that moving fish. That he has to target, he has to hit the eye of the moving fish, not looking at the fish, but looking at the image of the fish in the water. Who can do? Only Arjuna. So Arjuna is known for his Chitta Samadhana. When he aims at a particular thing, everything else is not visible to him. That is the Samadhanam which a spiritual aspirant should have. Now, how to acquire the samadhanam? This entire Yoga Shastra, it was written by Patanjali. Yoga Shastra is also known as Ashtanga Yoga. It is not it's not Vedic, it is non-Vedic, written by Patanjali. In that Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali, it talks of various practices. Ashta Anga, 8 limbs. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So the whole Yoga Shastra is meant for the concentration of the mind. It is meant for the disciplining the mind. It is not for Atma Jnana. We don't accept that Yoga Shastra for Atma Jnana. It is not for that. The last Anga of the Ashtanga Yoga is Samadhi. Samadhi, which is, in a way, it is nothing but Chitta Samadhanam only. The Samadhi is that one-pointedness. That is the absorption of the mind on a particular thing. That is what one of the Anga in the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali Yoga Sutra also. That is the Samadhana. That is the Samadhanam which a spiritual aspirant is required to have. And that is the last qualification in the Shatka Sampattihi, starting from Shamadama, Uparatiki, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. Now comes the next qualification, which is the fourth qualification in the Sadhana Chatushtayam. What is that? Mumukshutvam. The details of this fourth qualification we discussed in the beginning introduction itself, but we will discuss more on this in the next class. Hare Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hare Om.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you.